Past and present students from Niagara College's Ecosystem Restoration Program recently gathered with faculty and community guests to celebrate new vernal pools on campus. Now, here to explain what are vernal pools and how crucial they are for various species is Ecosystem Restoration Professor Martin Smith and Dean of Business and Environment Evan D. Valentino. So let's start with you first, Martin. What is a vernal pool?
Well, thanks for asking, Kate. Yeah, vernal pools are shallow, temporary ponds. They may be within forest edges. They need shade. But what's most important is that amphibians like salamanders and some species of frogs need them to spawn, to lay their eggs, so that their young can grow in a safe environment without fish. And that's the crux. These vernal pools can dry up in late summer, fall. 1 year, every other year, doesn't matter. If any fish got in there, the fish are killed, and therefore these organisms are safe to become fully adults. So that's fundamentally what a vernal pool is.
Okay, so Evan, these pools we understand are near the Wetland Ridge Trail, near the lagoons, on the DJP campus in Niagara-on-the-Lake. So how was this area selected, or was it naturally already there?
So I will turn some of the selection criteria back to Professor Smith, but I'll talk about our campus just a little bit. Yes, the Daniel J. Patterson campus, named after our past president in Niagara-on-the-Lake, is a 125-acre campus. About a third of that is our vineyard, and the rest is like our living lab, our playground for environment and horticulture programs in our School of Environment and Horticulture. 7 programs, undergraduate programs, graduate programs, two-year programs, one-year programs, all rooted in experiential learning. It's what we do in the college sector, right? One of our professors who started in the college world as a student and then made her way to university later on in life, found out the phrase experiential learning when she was in university and said, experiential learning, I thought that was just college, actually, right? And so it's a lot of hands-on learning, and we find that our students really thrive in that environment. They can blend the theory with the hands-on learning, and some will actually go on to university after that, and it makes a lot more practical sense when you've got that hands-on piece. So I'm getting away from the campus aspect of this, and so I'll turn it back over to Professor Smith to talk about why this specific area of our 125-acre campus was selected for the salamander.
Okay, so why was it then?
Well, there was a stretch of land which is around the edge of the forest, which was shaded by the trees existing right there, but it was right on the edge of our property, in the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority property. But it was the right lay of the land, and we already had a couple of existing natural pools nearby, but they were getting too full. They were running out of space to lay their eggs. So we chose this area right beside it, which may be able to be dammable and to back up the water to create this habitat. So we chose its proximity to the existing ponds and the fact that it was still on our campus, barely.
And you were saying when we were chatting earlier that it's so important for the public to understand about these pools, because so often people just look at them like, oh, it's a puddle, let's just get rid of it.
Well, historically it's been true. Any small pond, pool that's over here, say, oh, it's just poor drainage. And if it's anything to do with the forest, that can be really essential habitat for a wide range of species. Different species of salamander, there's frog species, there are little shrimp called fairy shrimp. People don't know fairy shrimp even exist, but we have these freshwater shrimp in Canada that need vernal pools as well. So yes, it's a bad habit that we have, and even to this day and age, people, as you know, we didn't know what a vernal pool is. What are these things? But they're really important to a lot of salamander species.
I mean, yes, I had no clue. I very much do now. So I understand these pools were 6 years in the making or so.
Yes,
Can you just, one of you tell me about that?
It took a long time because, well, it was tricky. Because where I wanted to put it, well, it's not. One of my students chose it in 2019, saying this is a good spot, and I said, you're right, that is a good spot. And then going from that early thinking to, we'll go back a step. I have students for 8 months a year. Some at university, it might happen for 4 years. So I have this turnover of students when they get to a certain point, that I have new students and try and push the pebble ahead year after year. That combined with the fact it was right on the property line of our property and the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority meant I had to negotiate with them them. What do you guys think? It was right on the Niagara Escarpment Commission's area, so what do you guys think? They thought we would think you need a permit to do that. So then we get into the permitting process of filling out the forms, coming up with ideas, rebuttaling back and forth the pros and cons. So 6 years later, yes, we got approval, we got a bit of financing to do it, and we finally built it this fall.
And if I can add to that entire cycle, even though it's prolonged slightly because it's part of our academic, it's integrated academically right across 6 cohorts of students, is all part of real world learning. It's what happens from identifying the site to landing on the concept, design, getting to the permit phase, raising funds. And so Martin Smith, Professor Smith and others have figured out a way to connect 6 years of students along this project continuum.
Well, maybe you can build on that, Evan, because you had this vernal pool party on March 27th. What was that like for the students?
First of all, you've got to explain to everyone what a vernal pool party is, right? Don't bring your swim trunks. Show up with, I think we needed some light winter, early spring weather as well. We were able to go for some tours of the site, which was helpful. The eggs were laid just the day prior. They were spotted, right?
I was lucky.
Yeah, we got lucky. So a lot of us got to go out, see what work was done, see what the eggs look like, learn a little bit about the various salamander species as well when we were in our greenhouse classroom all gathering around. But I'll point to the group that was involved in this, right? Yes, 6 cohorts of students. We had students coming back from 2019, 2021, 2023. We had a graduate from, I think, a different program, but going back to 1995, right?
Wow.
And so you have this year's group of students who were actively involved in installing and getting the vernal pool up and running, the dam. But we had students come back from 30 years, as well as industry members from our program advisory committee. Our president, Sean Kennedy, and his wife, Carrie Kennedy. This is, yes, it's part of what we do at the college in terms of experiential learning, but it's also part of who we are. And so it was really nice to welcome back such a large group for this.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much to learn here, and hopefully we can have you back on to learn a little bit more. I love the experiential learning, and we now should all know what a vernal pool is. I will be sharing all of this as well on my social media. Thank you so much for both being in the studio today.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you very much, Kate.